Many people are looking, just like I was in the past, for a training, a learning of Chinese medicine. But what is Chinese medicine? In this movie and in the links that are in this movie, you will find some links towards courses that you can follow for Chinese medicine, of course, that I designed. But I will tell you a little bit about why I actually designed this. Because when I was getting interested in Chinese medicine, I was 11. So I was very young. By the time I was actually aware enough of myself that I really wanted to go to a school for Chinese medicine, I got really very much disappointed because it was nothing like the romantic ideas that I had. Everything was either Western medicine or it was international politics. And as a result, that the actual value of Chinese medicine wasn't very good. So I started a research project. I did that as part of my PhD research. And in the program that this movie is part of, you can see all kind of links that I use for my students to also look into at the moment when they study Chinese medicine. And you know why? Because Chinese medicine is about 80% different from what is normally presented. First of all, Chinese medicine is usually very limited. People learn acupuncture, or they learn massage, or they learn herbal medicine, sometimes a combination depending on what it is, but the time that is spent in learning it is actually very little. In the past, Chinese medicine was learned through practice, not by practicing acupuncture, but by practicing your body, Neidan practice, alchemical practice, to learn to understand how the functions of your body are actually organized. And as a result of that, you would have a general idea about how to affect healing or how to cure people from all kinds of diseases. The theoretical framework as being expressed in the Huangdi Jing, in the Tan Zong Jing, and all kinds of other books that are discussed in the history of Chinese medicine. These are all books that are commentaries on things that people discovered as a result of over time having experience with themselves and with the people around them. In doing so, they actually started having a thing to invest, namely their passion, their understanding of reality, which is called in Taoism and in Chinese medicine history Ling Pao. That means the contract that you have with nature or with the nature of things. And this is actually then what you have to learn to establish at the moment when you learn Chinese medicine, because that way you become a Chinese medicine engineer and not just Chinese medicine mechanic, because that is what is learned in Chinese medicine nowadays. You learn to become a mechanic or to be subservient to Western medicine, which has a completely different kind of worldview. So what you learn, what you have to learn in Chinese medicine is of course a worldview. And this is what the IOC Daoland program is all about. We want to be an independent university investigating Chinese medicine as it is. For this reason, I translate a lot of materials from Chinese, from Old Chinese, from Modern Chinese. I translate Taoist classics that are all related to Chinese medicine. I share with people how to read the I Ching. Maybe you have seen my recent book on I Ching. And then also, of course, you have to learn several different kind of meditation techniques, Taoyin, Tai Chi Chuan, and so on, as a way to identify problems, not just to learn to defend yourself or learn how to be healthy or anything like that. No, the pathway to immortality is actually the pathway towards becoming a good Chinese medicine doctor. So if you feel touched by what I have to say to you and you understand why I am so dedicated to my profession and why I think you should be so dedicated to your profession, then please follow the links, sign up, join us. You have now reacted on one of the links that is leading towards this program. And this program has to help you understand what this is all about. And at the moment when you study Chinese medicine at the IOC Daoland program, you are going to be asked to do quite a lot. This is not your average program. You will have to spend much more time on your studies than that is used for in Europe and America or in Australia. No, you are going to be actually investing a lot in yourself, and through yourself you're going to mirror your world. You're going to learn a worldview, and this worldview has to help you understand things like disease, things like health, because that is the first topic you are going to learn. You're going to learn how to recognize health, how to maintain and how to restore health. That is something different than treating disease. Treating disease is on the side. Most people, they will end up eventually diseased, but more important than learning how to cure disease is how to prevent aging, which makes a bigger chance for disease to occur in people. So this is basically what you're going to learn in the bachelor program, the first thing. And we do this through a program which is separated in 8 different modules. These are separated in 4 different sections. One is science, and that is sociology, anthropology. This is also transcultural science, but this is also learning how to do research and how to communicate and so on and so on. And this is used also to help you summarize your modules, to write pieces of your paper which eventually have to end up in your final paper before you can get the diploma on bachelor niveau level. Then the other part is the Chinese medicine science. 25% of your studies is basically I Ching counseling, and that includes for 2-year course to study everything about I Ching, everything about Yin Yang, everything about Wu Xing, about the tripartition, about the way how hexagrams are being formed, how to diagnosis is being made in an analytical fashion. That means the science of diagnosis, not the diagnosis itself, but also how to see the world from that same perspective. So there is a lot to learn, and there is a lot of translated material in there. To help you with that, we also have the Zhongwu Qigong. That is a library practice, originally a Taoist Taoyin practice, where you learn all the different kind of steps in the Chinese Taoist cosmology. Includes also a lot of Buddhist elements, Lamaist, Zen Buddhist elements, and so on and so forth. All because these are integrated in the Wudang culture that actually this course is based upon. There is a lot about history, different kind of skills that you can use, like fitness, Kung Fu fitness, like Tai Chi Chuan, like meditation, like acupuncture facial treatment to help people to become young with their whole body, not just their face, to learn to control overweight, to do all kind of things in the body to prepare you also to become an excellent therapist if you become one therapist afterwards, or an excellent teacher when you become a teacher afterwards. You are going to learn to coach people into their health. Well, there's a lot. Meditation, of course, because meditation is at the foundation of everything. So if you think this is interesting to you, and you think this is the kind of information that I want, this is the kind of decency, groundedness of a course that I want to follow, then this is not only the case in this course.
This course gives you the opportunity to start working as soon as possible and start earning your investment back, so that your life is going to be enriched not only with the information, but also with helping others.
Let's talk about the different modules in the IOC Daoland program. I have never really given a full explanation on video, although we have of course an expensive explanation on paper. In effect, you have 16 modules. These 16 modules, they have to help you get really professional in managing people's health. We are now just talking about the program as it is in the bachelor program. This program is based on Dutch university law. That means there are particular rules and regulation about how you build a program. Let's first start with the specific part that is dedicated to your profession. That is, there is a module on anatomy and physiology, and it is separated in 2 parts. One is, no, actually in 3 parts. The first part is the introduction, and it shows a lot of the history of Chinese medicine. It links directly to the history module. Then there is the correlation and the differentiation between Chinese medicine and Western medicine. It shows basically that the idea of studying Chinese medicine on the basis of Western medicine is a strange contradiction. You cannot understand Chinese medicine from the idea of Western medicine, and through the way how complexity is being built in the one and the other, and how meanings and experiences are being shared in the one, and how analytical instrumentation is being shared in the other, you can see that they are not necessarily compatible. There are fields where they overlap, but that is not necessarily so. Thus this chapter is specifically dedicated to that, and that the introduction and the comparison between the two is actually what is a core aspect of understanding Chinese medicine. Because if you do not understand the difference with Western medicine, you cannot use Western medicine in your analysis, because you have to understand what are the limitations of what Western medicine tries to teach you, and you have to understand what are the limitations of Chinese medicine, what it tries to teach you. And these two, they are sometimes in conflict. You can't always try and explain something in Chinese medicine in Western medicine terms, and the other way around. Right? So you have to understand that one medicine is a commentary on the other, a criticism, if you will. So Western medicine criticizes Chinese medicine. It says you are not sufficient. Chinese medicine says Western medicine is not sufficient. So either one of the two is right in your eyes because of the way how you study. If you study in favor of Western medicine, great, then you go ahead. But in this program, we are trying to focus on the right of the Chinese medicine part. This is one of the philosophical choices that we made in this study, and which I think is one of the major attractions. Then at that moment, once we have done that, we will go towards anatomy and physiology, in the sense of we try to discuss the Zhang Fu, we discuss in there the TCM vision, but we also explain in there the pre-TCM vision. We translate also from Taoist classics, so you can see also what the Taoist way of looking at these things is at the same time. So you have 3 different Chinese medicine visions at that moment, and you can compare them with yourself. You have to find your own way in there, because there's no way how you can just follow up on a particular set of rules, because that is not how Chinese medicine is being constructed from the past, and that is certainly what they try to teach you in this present. When we go look at the channel system, we discuss the whole of the channel system. That means we are not focusing just on the 12 regular channels, not only on the Dumai and the Renmai, but we also focus on the extra channels. We focus on the secret channels, the collaterals, the divergence, on the microcollaterals, and several other systems that are also relevant. And we compare them with systems from Buddhism, with systems from Tibetan Buddhism, and we also even compare slightly with Hindu systems, so that you can understand where the differences lies and what the meaning differences between these things is. In the chapter of anatomy and physiology, when we talk about the organs, we also talk about substances like qi, blood, and so forth and so forth. We also explain extensively why qi and blood are concepts in their own right, and that you cannot compare them with westernized concepts like energy and so on, spirit, essence, and so on, because there is no basis for that in the Chinese medicine classics. And at the moment, when we go to the next module, this is the Yangshen module. The Yangshen module is that what actually has to help you understand your profession. And it is an extensive module that places Chinese medicine in the context of medicine and in the world of medicine work, in the context of spa medicine, where a lot of wellness things happen, but also in the field of beauty and also in the field of sports, exercise, and meditation. At the end of these chapters, when we go through the different kind of principles that are underpinning the principles of health and ruling, the way of how to treat people and how to handle people and how to coach people, we also go extensively into the theories of Neidan, because Yangshen and Neidan, they are 2 parts, and Yangshen is the beginning, Neidan is the end. So these things are both being discussed in the same context. Then, to prove everything that we do there, we have another theoretical framework, which we call the I Ching counseling modules. These are 4 modules which each discuss another part. The first one discusses yin-yang theory, and you're busy with it for some while. The Wu-Xing theory, we have our own I Ching, now published also in 7 Star Publishing, and we have also the complex theory chapters. These 3 chapters, these 3 modules, they actually discuss all kind of aspects of what you can call Chinese medicine science. These are being spread out over 2 years, and they are as heavy and as intense and as time-consuming as anatomy, physiology, and Yangshen, and so on and so on. So while you do anatomy, physiology, you do Yangshen, and so on, you also at the same time are studying these other things. And these other things, they are, if necessary, even more important. So at the moment when you learn these complex theories, you also learn more deeply into the difference between male and female in alchemy and in also female diseases and so forth, for health principles, of course. And also you learn a lot about how that affects your exercise and so forth and so forth. We have the Zhongwu Qigong, and we have several other exercise systems to help you understand the meaning of the concepts, because you have to prove the meaning of the concepts through your experience. So you're being guided through the experience, because Chinese medicine primarily is an experience-based science. It is not an instrumentated science. You don't need instruments to prove the science. You are yourself the instrument, and your clients, your students, your practitioners are also the science. So when we do Wudang Fitness, or when we do breath yoga, or when we do no death yoga, alchemical Daoyin basically, or we do meditation, or we do Tai Chi Chuan, or we do massage, or we do facial treatment, or we do diet therapy, all these different kind of aspects, they're all part of your training program to prove what is Yang, what is Yin, what is the Wu Xing, why is it not the 5 elements, why are we not talking about energy, and so on. So you learn to classify things in yourself within the context of Chinese medicine. This is actually Chinese medicine science. This is the way how monks used to learn about these things. Then at the moment when you have done these things and you have a good foundation in basically what Chinese medicine is all about and what the exercise methods are about, how they relate, how meditation, how nourishment, how behavior, all these kind of things, how they relate to the context of Chinese medicine and the principles of health, then at that moment you're also going to be trained in what is called the parenting module. The parenting module has 2 parts. One part is the different stages of your life that you go through and what kind of exercises function best in that way. So that's more like an application module. Then there is also in there the different stages that you go through, what you can teach to your children or what you can use for guiding people through particular kind of experiences and so on, because people have to be prepared on the stages of life to maintain their health. If they don't do that, then at that moment, of course, the chance of staying healthy is relatively small. Then after all these Chinese medicine thing, which is very complete and very much, I am agreeing with that, it's a lot. There's also the idea of what immortality actually means in Chinese medicine, because Chinese medicine is primarily a science of how to become an immortal. And this is the wilderness module. And the parenting and the wilderness module, they actually relate to each other, because the wilderness is usually where immortals go to find immortality. So there is a lot to explain there too. Besides that, there is the science aspect of it. 1/4 of your study is about science, so you learn things about sociology, different kind of theories in the West. You also learn a little bit about current theories in China. Same with anthropology, same with history, and same with transculturalism, which is the direction in modern philosophical, political and sociological and anthropological studies. Gives you a good impression of how the world seems to work and how we make it fit in this modern society, because that is what the study is for, to help you develop a proper healthcare based on Chinese medicine. The same module can be followed for any kind of medicine. So if it's Indian medicine or Peruvian medicine or Aztec medicine or Navajo medicine or Yoruba medicine or you just name it, any kind of culture can be reclassified in such way so that it eventually becomes something meaningful in our modern way of looking at things, where everything has to become classified in a sort of pyramid scheme where the academy is the top, and we are in that sense at this moment study-wise the only real university as such. You can give a claim as such, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are, and that is also the reason why Chinese medicine is not recognized worldwide as an independent medicine. The fact that Chinese medicine can be independent is scary to a lot of people, because it means that there is space for alternative ideas, and that the worldview that is currently ruling the world and it's gradually ruining it is not required to be followed. And this is actually what we exist for. I hope this video was very helpful for you, and at the moment when you are interested in this study, then don't forget to sign up.